Hello there, welcome back to the Ogre, the old Git Reacts, Reviews and Off Times Reminiscences. Today we're doing the committee, who somebody posted it up the other day. I had a quick flick through it. I've not heard it properly at all. However, one track did take me straight away, which is obviously the one we're going to do today. So I'll listen to that, and then in due course I'll give the full album a proper go. And if it's anything like the track we're listening to now, in all likelihood I'm going to lose some more money to the gods of rock and roll. Anyway, let's have a look and let's go.
I watch the sun rise inside their minds. Ideas simmer at the surface. A hollow skull to be desensitized. A vessel to be filled with virtue.
So, the thing that gained my initial interest on this is the sound of the band, and whether it proves to be the case that the sound is as gripping as it is here throughout the album remains to be seen. But on initial listen, I've heard this track once in its entirety, and I've heard none of the rest of the tracks in their entirety, so we'll see how we go with that. But unusually for me, I mean, for some weird reason, I don't know why it is, who can say these things aren't scientific, but I shy away now from well produced music, or clearly produced music, by and large, depending on the genre, but by and large, excuse me, up for a grubby, murky, staticky sound most of the time, which isn't the case here, but nonetheless it certainly grabs me. And you know, come on, something that goes straight in, almost straight into blast beats. Can you grumble? No, you can't. So the initial fast bit at the beginning, which was repeated again just after I spoke, has a perfect melody to it, one that gets straight in, you know, straight to vein sort of melody, and then we slow down a wee bit, and there's that. It always reminds me of a maritime always gives me a maritime feel. That sort of, it's not warm, but it's a smooth sort of guitar riff there that it's just a comforting guitar. I know that it's horses for courses, and it'll sound different to different people, but for me that's it reminds me, and I forget the proper pronunciation of the band, but many moons ago I used to listen to a band called Angantyr or something like that, who were I suppose Viking metalish type thing, but on their album covers very often there'll be a longboat of some description, and this just before it got a bit rock and rolly here. That's the feeling it gave me. But as I say, now it's got some chops to it, and we're going a bit headbangy. So we'll see where it goes with that. I say this time and time again on my videos that these songs very often have the feeling of a story, and this is a good example of that. It's got chapters to it, and changes in emphasis, and you know, the plot thickens here, and you know, there's a few, I won't say wrong turns, but a few sections that you go, oh, I didn't expect that. All within 4 minutes so far, so it has that captivating sense of you sort of, if you're reading a book, you would be eagerly turning the next page. And the vocals here, I don't know if I've mentioned too much about vocals, or do I? Maybe I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Occasionally or regularly, sometimes I specifically make mention of vocals, and this is the sort of a lot of vocals in black metal now. The modern sound of black metal aren't my favourite because they've developed a bit of a bark to them, some of them, whereas here we've got some old school growl really, which if it ain't going to be the Wraith-like howls and shrieks that I prefer the most, then this is a fine second best. And for those of you that actually care about what the lyrics say, you can actually hear what they are here, which is a bonus for those of you that care about that. this is one of those songs that I don't go to gigs very often nowadays because, well, purely and simply the bands that I want to see don't very often come to these shores, and if they do, they're too far away. Yeah, they are, but well, yes, by and large, I have to go down to that there London for most of the bands, but not always. And but the point I'm trying to make, before I go off on another tangent, is that this is a sort of song that if I was at a gig and listening to this, I would be behaving in a manner that does not befit my age or my physical capabilities nowadays, and would probably find myself having to lay down for a day or two with the exertions I would make along to this, which with my bones becoming more brittle and my muscles wasting away, as well as my mental faculties, I'd have to be careful, very careful. It'd be worth it, wouldn't it? It would. So there you go. That's left me feeling, well, all manner of things really, but the main thing, and sometimes people choke on the coffee when you say this about a black metal band. I'm left thoroughly entertained. Sometimes that's forgotten in music. In the desire to make whatever impact, it's nice to be entertained as well, amongst other things. So, and that certainly did. So. And as I say, it had an old school feel to it in many ways, because it didn't include heavy metal as I would describe, but what am I trying to say? Some of the riffs will be familiar to, depends on how old you are, your dad, or to you, or your mum, or to your sister. Or to anybody really of a certain age. Yeah. Anyway, clicky bollocks, catch you next time. Cheerio.